Welcome back to RealHouseDIY. Today I'm going to show you how to take off and reattach the outer spring clamp on your LG washer door gasket. First, if you haven't already checked it out, I got a ton of videos on my channel on the LG washer and dryer. I'll get a link to that playlist in the description. I recently had a viewer question on this outer spring clamp for the washer door gasket. In the video where I'm replacing this washer door gasket, I don't go into a lot of detail about this outer spring clamp. The most difficult part is this inner spring clamp, so I go into a lot of detail on that, and I made another video about that one. But since I didn't go into too much detail, I'll try to get some good camera angles and as much information I can about this outer spring clamp. Now this will just generally apply to most LG washers. Many of the LG washer models do use the same exact washer door gasket. However, there are a few different ones, so yours might not be exactly the same as this. Now, when you replace that inner spring clamp, you might have had to use a special tool that LG sells. It's spring clamp plier tool, and it makes it a lot easier to get that clamp back on. You may have even needed to take the whole front of the washer off. But as far as the outer spring clamp, you really don't need the special pliers for this one. Things like needle nose pliers. I have this hook-shaped tool. It's good for just gripping on and pulling. Well, the small vice grip pliers is really good. It does the gripping for you, and then all you have to do is pull. So if we get in nice and close here, it's just a metal clamp goes around the outside of this gasket, and then at the bottom here, it's two circles, and in between those a spring. So to take that off, just kind of grip on one side, use the needle nose pliers there, use this hook tool on the other side, pull that spring apart. And then that clamp comes off. So all this clamp is a circle, wire for most of it, loops at the ends with a spring in between. So you pull that spring apart and get to clamp back on. It holds that door gasket around the outer lip of the door, nice and tight so there can't be any leaks. So as you can see on the washer door gasket, this deep groove right here, this is where that clamp fits into. And then underneath that you can see it curves backwards. So you have a lip right here, and that's going to go around this curved metal lip that's on the front of your washer panel. Taking this off is easy. Just pull it off all the way around. Now this might be obvious, but when you're reinstalling this gasket, if you've taken the entire thing off, the orientation matters. You're going to want to have these drain holes towards the inside of the washer. So after you've finished installing that inner spring clamp, this is what it might look like. And it's very common for it to look a little bit lumpy, maybe deformed. Even brand new washer door gaskets will look like that. One thing you might want to note is that this has a very deep fold in it. So you can pull this thing out. You can completely remove that fold. And that's what it's going to look like right there. And you're going to say, wow, that's like really big. How's that going to fit? And this can look like it's extra material, maybe too big for it. Here, if we look really closely, you can see this outer lip of the washer door. It comes out straight from here and rolls over. So your rubber door gasket, you have to stretch that out over this lip. So if you've just cleaned your washer door gasket and reinstalling it, it should be very obvious that it is going to go back on because you had taken it off in the first place. But if you've ordered a replacement, there is a chance you get one that's not the correct size. When you look at this, it is a little bit wider diameter than the panel itself. And on mine, the front panel diameter from the outer edge of that lip to this outer edge of the lip, that's almost 14¼ inches. If we compare that to the door gasket itself, furthest distance, it's about 14�5th inches. And that's mostly just the fact that it's going to be stretched out over that lip, so it is going to be a little bit bigger than that. And then the clamp itself, very similar, about 14¼ inch diameter. Get a close-up view here, try and get this rubber gasket over the lip of the front panel. So if this part of the rubber gasket has this deep curve, so that's what's going to fit over just like that. This surface right here, that gets nice and flat against the panel. And then you have the deep groove in here where that clamp is going to fit next. And this is the part of getting this gasket around that outer lip of the front panel, where you're trying to stretch it on. It might jump off one side when you get over to this side. And just pull it up a little bit at a time. Get it sitting in that groove on the other side of the lip of the front panel. Just about reached the end here. And that's what it's going to look like. You have this surface here flush against the panel of the washer. You have the deep groove right inside the lip that you just pulled over where that clamp is going to fit. So you can feel that hard surface of that metal lip right on the other side there. Finally, let's get the clamp back on. Start it at the top. Get it fit into that groove on both sides. And here's that deep groove I'm talking about. It's right behind the metal lip that's on the other side of the gasket. So it's in the deep groove of the gasket and also the metal lip that's right behind it. You can get it about 3/4 of the way by hand. You can see right here, that's what's going to happen. If it's going to accidentally pull off, you might take the gasket with it. You might have to refit that on. This is a point where you're going to want to use some tools. So on this side, I'll grip with some needle nose pliers. Other side, grip with this hook tool. And at this point, it could help to have a second person, fitting the clamp behind the groove as you're pulling. If you're doing this yourself, it can help to get one side fit into that groove and then do more of the pulling just on the other side to get the other side fit in the groove. And you want to check it all the way around. You can see this one spot right here. It's right on the lip. And you want to make sure that's in the groove. See if I can just push that in there. There we go. And there you can see that metal clamp in that groove all the way around. That's all there is to it. Hope this video helps. Thanks for watching.